So welcome to the NLP UK Training Podcast. I'm Callie Fraser, and today's guest is Dr. Andy Cope. So Andy's also known as the Doctor of Happiness. He's also a best-selling author, positive psychology expert, and the founder of Art of Brilliance, a movement that's helped thousands of people and organizations go from surviving to thriving. So Andy earned his PhD at the University of Loughborough. And it's quite a thing to be a doctor of happiness, isn't it?
It is a thing, a faintly ridiculous thing in the modern world. Can I just say how I'm excited to be here, by the way? Because I've got my own podcast, but mine's homemade. So it's me with an iPhone, normally sitting in my car, rabbiting on about stuff. We're in a studio, Callie, with camera. It's a proper podcast.
Proper pod.
Excellent. So yeah, super excited. But yeah, PhD in basically I call it human flourishing. So it's something we'll explore later, but what I was looking at specifically is psychology's always looked at ill people, phobias, disorders, that kind of thing. But who are the ones who aren't ill? Who are the people who are already thriving and flourishing? That was what I was really interested in, is flipping psychology on its head. And who are the happy people? What are they doing that allows them to feel so amazing? And what can we learn from them that we can apply to ourselves so we might also feel amazing? In a world, whenever people are listening to this, the world's gone a bit crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a bit full on. Yeah. And you're a trainer, I'm a trainer. We meet people all the time who are just almost permanently exhausted. You wake up exhausted, you're exhausted all day, you go to bed exhausted. And I think there's so much of that going on that raising that well-being bar is what we're into. And you are as well, to be fair. Yeah,
absolutely.
Same thing, yeah.
The thing is, Andy, I've got a bit of a spin on that, because I'm just wondering whether all this pressure to be happy all the time is actually making us even more unhappy. So is it all it's cracked up to be?
It's a great starting point, I think. We've only got 10 minutes. I mean, that's such a fabulous question. I think happiness is all it's cracked up to be. In terms of happiness is the goal of all your other goals. If you think about it, why are you setting your goals? Because you want to be happy. It is the ultimate that we're all aiming for. But I think you're right in terms of the particularly social media and Instagram and all this airbrush perfection, that if we're led to believe that we should always be happy. And therefore, if we're feeling anything less than happy, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And we seek medical help and we're taking tablets to be happier. It's ridiculous, really. So I think that, nobody's happy all the time. I mean, people find out I'm a doctor of happiness, right? And the first question is, I bet you're always happy. Are you always happy, doctor?
I bet you're a right miserable guy at times.
God, you should, my missus. Yeah. Will you stop moaning? Nobody's happy all the time. And you wouldn't want to be happy all the time. It's not a valid emotion a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But we all want to feel great more of the time. But I mean, there's a whole gamut of human emotions. I don't want to feel all of them. I want to feel the bad ones as well. Not often, but I do need to experience them. So I think just because you're having a bad day or you're not feeling your best, I don't think that's a cause for concern necessarily.
And I think it's also, it's important to feel those more negative emotions when it's appropriate to feel them, because if you kind of airbrush those emotions, they're there to tell you something, aren't they?
They are. They're a knock on the door, and emotions are a knock on the door is trying to tell you something. And I think, I've never read it, but the DSM, this diagnostic manual of clinical things that can go wrong with you, I'm not going to go there because it's 450 pages.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. There's different flavors of anxiety. There's about 100 different types of anxiety. And so we keep inventing new phobias, disorders. You could, apparently in the DSM-6, which is coming soon, that bereavement is going to be a sort of, you can get medicated for like if somebody,
normal.
No, I know. If somebody that you love passes away, I would expect you to be devastated.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happens is the human emotion normally will, after 3 months, 6 months, you will get over that. You'll have experienced the downtime and you've recovered. It's called being human, really, isn't it? And if you're bereaved and you feel terrible, you go to the doctor, you take a pill for that, is just wrong. It is just plain wrong, because you're built as a human to experience those terrible emotions as well. So it's not necessarily a nice feeling. It's very uncomfortable, but we do need to feel it.
Yeah. So if it's okay to feel those negative emotions, and it's okay to say, look, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling angry, whatever it might be, how do we then flip the switch to get back into a more positive mindset without being kind of like I said before, that airbrush?
Yeah, I think, well, we go out of our way at Art of Brilliance to suggest that it's okay to not be okay. But that said, there are ways and means that you can get back in the game quicker. So what positive psychology for me is about the study of positive human emotion and human flourishing, while acknowledging that you're not going to flourish all of the time, but that you can learn to be it's this fabled best self, isn't it? It's that everybody's talking about the best self, living your best life, but you look around, Callie, there's not many people achieving that.
No.
We're falling short of it, and then we feel that pressure. So getting back in the game, it's really what positive psychology comes from. It's not positive thinking, because people think, oh, it's just positive thinking. And it's actually the scientific, tried and tested academic rigor that we would normally apply to depression, but we're applying it to positive emotions instead. So seeing what works and what doesn't. There's so many, I think positive psychology struggles, even in my own head, as a doctor of happiness, even that makes me cringe a little bit because it sounds ridiculous. But a lot of the solutions are intuitively very obvious. So I spent about 12 years getting a PhD at Loughborough, and I didn't really, sounds terrible, I didn't really learn anything I didn't know 12 years ago. But what positive psychology did was prove certain things to me that I thought might have been true. So all the stuff your mum tells you about being happy and being grateful and being loving and being kind, guess what?
It all makes sense.
That's the secret of it. Yeah, it all makes perfect sense. You don't actually need a PhD in anything to understand. It's just common sense. But let's go back to the modern world that we started with. The modern world, I think, is getting us super busy doing the wrong things. So if we're spending like teenagers now, 5.5 hours a day on social, like that is just not going to be good for your eye contact, your human relationships, your small talk, your human connections. We're busy doing the wrong things. We're getting our food delivered to us instead of cooking from scratch. We're spending time in the office instead of going for a walk. All the things that we know are not great for us, but we're hooked into doing them. The modern world hooks us in there. So I think that actually the external world has got a lot, is actually, well, I talk about it on my own podcast. I think people are sick of me talking about it, but I'll mention it on yours. It's called zoochosis. So you'll love zoochosis, right? Zoochosis is, if you go to the zoo, and I'm not anti-zoo, or this is not an anti-zoo rant, but I went to the zoo a while back, and the animals were behaving strangely. So the bears were pacing up and down. Remember, the giraffe was licking this perspex glass that it was on, is just licking it, and the elephants were rocking. And you come away from the zoo being slightly disturbed by that. So that got me Googling, why is this? And this word zoochosis. So the guy who was on Born Free in the 70s invented this term zoochosis. And zoochosis is where the animals are taken out of their natural habitat and put in captivity, and they develop these weird behaviors. And what does the zoo environment do for animals who are suffering? They'll medicate them.
Yeah.
So actually bears and giraffes are on Valium.
That's crazy.
I know it's crazy, but they are. But if you go back to zoochosis, what we're really saying here is that it's not a medical problem. Captivity is the problem. Send the giraffes back out into Kenya, they'll be fine. And I think that zoochosis, for me, this is actually quite a deep, probably deeper than where we needed to go. But have we created an environment, it's like human zoochosis. Have we gone and accidentally created an environment that is actually quite toxic to humans? And I think there's a lot of all the stuff I said earlier, that we're living in big cities instead of out in nature. We're stuck behind desks.
We've got, technology is great.
Yeah.
But are we becoming so over-reliant on it that there isn't that human connection?
Yeah.
It's, for me, using technology is fabulous. My daughter lives in Nassau. So without that, I get to see her on a screen, and that's my connection with her.
Yeah.
But that's different to how a lot of people are using it.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get sucked into the whole social media thing. I call it anti-social media. But I think social media and screen time is fantastic if you use it for your benefit.
Yeah.
But I think the algorithm is so clever now that you go on your phone to legitimately talk to your daughter legitimately, but then afterwards a quick scroll, and 45 minutes later you're still there, aren't you?
It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's called the infinite scroll now. Like I did a tech conference the other month, and they said that when Instagram was first Instagram's only 10 years old, when it was first invented, you could get to the end of Instagram. You would scroll a couple of times. Once you'd exhausted your family and friends, Instagram would literally stop. And it was like, nothing to see here. Go and get a life.
Yeah.
Right. That's the end of Instagram for today. Not anymore. Now the algorithm feeds you. It knows you better than you. And it's just one more scroll. There might be just one more thing. It's like a little Vegas slot machine that we're just there.
It's kind of designed to be quite addictive, isn't it?
It is. I'm writing a book or co-writing a book at the moment called, I think it's going to be called Finding Focus. And we're going into that. Actually, it is deliberately designed to attract your eyeballs. The most precious thing on the planet is your attention.
Yeah.
And your attention is where your life is lived. I mean, we've all been able to get quite deeply philosophical, maybe. I don't know if our time's up here, but like we've all been given, all the listeners to this and the viewers to this, we've been given a gift. It's called time. We got the time when we were born, all the way through time when we're going to die. And nobody quite knows how much we've been gifted. But I think the big thing is that actually, what are you going to do with that time? Yeah, and I don't think on anybody's deathbed, nobody will say, oh, I wish I'd spent more time on my phone.
So if you could give our listeners 3 top tips about how they can flourish more in their lives, what would they be?
Well, I think I'll kind of avoid the really obvious ones you've heard before, really. I do quite like the, I've just alluded to it, really. The Japanese call it shinrin-yoku, which is essentially going for a walk. It's kind of what they've invented, going for a walk. No, it's more than that. It's like going out in the woods, but with your senses open, being really open to it. So instead of walking along 100 miles an hour scrolling on your phone, you're literally no headphones in. You're just walking and you're listening and you're seeing and you're sort of almost tasting nature. And I like that. So I've changed the way that I go for a walk now. So I'll go for a walk every day, but I'll deliberately try and open my senses up to nature. Forest bathing is the translation for it. So I like that one. I also like, I'm trying to think of ones maybe that are a bit obscure. Can I give you one that I've used on a few keynotes recently? Like as a Brit, when things don't go our way, we roll our eyes and we grumble about it. Oh my gosh, why does it always happen to me? It's like a red traffic light, or there's nowhere to park, or it's drizzling, or you're beeping your things through at the checkout and the light comes on. Oh my gosh, why is it? Or your train's late. So what we do is we roll our eyes and grumble. Oh my gosh, why is it always me? And I love that. I think you can continue to roll your eyes and grumble, but only when good things happen. And it honestly is so brilliant, right? I went to London a couple of weeks ago on the train, Derby to London. And I was chuckling to myself as I got on my train, because my train was on time. I was the only one getting on the train going, oh my gosh, another on-time train. Why did trains keep arriving on time for me? This is like deja vu. Well, when another family meal tonight with the people that I love the most. Another green traffic light. If there's any more green traffic lights, I'm going to be early for work. And I know that's ridiculous, but that's the whole point.
It flips the script.
It absolutely flips it, because your brain, well, you know this, and Steve knows this, is your brain is organised in the opposite way. It notices the red light. It notices the late train. And actually, I could stop rolling my eyes and grumbling that good stuff happens to me, because I've proved my point to myself already. I'm rolling my eyes a lot. And,
Good.
And I could stop doing it, because I've proved the point. I'm just bringing things to the surface that I would normally have missed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just parked up to come and do this, and there's like a space like on the first floor. I've not got to go to floor number 7 today. It's like, oh my gosh, another space with my name on it. And I think that it's counterintuitive, which is the whole of what positive psychology is counterintuitive. It's looking at the good instead of the bad. So that's a nice one. I think it's good fun as well, and your family will enjoy that.
That sounds like a really fun one to try.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You'll be chuckling on every green light.
I like being ridiculous. Ridiculous is fun, isn't it?
Well, it is. Yeah, and I suppose the third one, because you were just rolling your eyes, picking something a bit obscure. I do like niksen. It's a word from the Netherlands. It's hilarious. Again, niksen is something like the deliberate art of setting out to do nothing, but it takes nothingness to like a ninja level. So niksen it's so hard to do. I set this for a bunch of people the other week, and they all failed. Niksen is sitting in a chair looking out of a window for 10 minutes. So not sitting in a chair scrolling, not sitting in a chair watching TV, not sitting in a chair reading your book, literally sitting in a chair looking out of a window for 10 minutes. And everybody thinks, oh, that sounds really easy.
It's not.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Like literally after 1 minute, you start fidgeting, going, oh, I can't just be sitting here doing nothing. There must be some...
I've got something to do.
Yeah. What if somebody's WhatsApp me? What if there's, you know... So and normally after 5 minutes, you've given up because actually we're so busy, like we're so addicted to being busy and doing things that we've forgotten how to be.
Yeah.
And at Art of Brilliance, our big thing is shifting away from your burgeoning to-do list. We've all got things to do. Shifting yourself across to who am I being while I'm doing those things. And niksen sounds lazy and it sounds a bit like, but it's not. It's restorative. So actually sitting, doing nothing, just looking out the window, you will feel absolutely buzzing on that because your brain's had time just to reset itself and calm itself down, and then you're back in the game.
It's funny you should mention that because one of your colleagues recommended niksen to me a while back.
Oh, cool.
So I bought some books, did some research on it, and actually I've just had 2 weeks off work and I practiced it pretty much for 2 weeks solid. And I spent time in the garden and just sat.
Wow.
And just did nothing.
And uncomfortable with it to start with, or?
Very.
Yes.
It felt really, it felt really unnatural at first.
Yeah.
But actually, the more that I did it, the more it felt normal again. And it kind of puts you back to that place where it's almost like your default setting that we've forgotten.
Absolutely. It is. We've forgotten how to be still. We've forgotten how to be. We are human beings, you know, not human doings. And I think that it's almost like meditation and mindfulness, but without having to sit on a gluten-free cushion for 3 hours and arming. It's just a quick win. It's just 10 minutes of niksen a day. I think, it's restorative. Like you say, it's like plugging yourself back into the mains and you should come back fully charged.
Fabulous. Now, before we wrap up this episode of the podcast, Andy, you walked into the studio this morning. The first thing that I saw was your t-shirt. Tell us about your t-shirt.
My t-shirt. Well, it says Ladult. For those of you listening, Ladult. So I've written a book. It's coming out. It's probably already out actually by the time you listen to this podcast. Written it with my son actually, which is a bit bizarre. So he's 26, I think, maybe 27. I can't remember. But he's knee deep in a PhD looking at social media and attention spans.
Ooh.
Right. So it's like proper interesting stuff. And we've written Ladult for teenage boys. So I think boys between the ages of about 12 and 16. I think growing up has become a very, very complicated thing. And it's almost, Ladult is taking all our rich content on positive psychology and writing it in a book in a way that boys will find accessible. We know boys don't read, right? So it's coming out as an audio as well. But I think boys, there's certain messages boys need. Now there's all this toxic masculinity out there, or Andrew Tate nonsense out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nonsense that boys can accidentally pick up off YouTube. So we're just trying to put it straight, put it like what a good life really is and what a real man actually is in the modern world.
That sounds fabulous. Looking forward to it coming out and having a good read.
Good.
So guys, that's the end of our podcast today with Andy Cope. We'll see you next time. We'll be doing another episode with Andy soon. Take care. See you soon.